I recently decided to try speedrunning Minuscraft. Why? Because Minuscraft is the best game ever. In this video, I'm going to explain the strategy I used to beat it in under 25 minutes. There might be faster methods, but this was the best I could think of in a short amount of time. First, if you've never seen Minuscraft, it's a pretty simple minigame. All you have to do is get rid of every single block. That's every cobweb, every anvil, and every other block within these barriers. Once it's all gone, the timer stops. Minuscraft was meant to be a multiplayer competitive game, which is why you can see multiple sets of the map through the barriers. When playing multiplayer, you're able to sabotage the other players using emeralds, but we're going to ignore that part of the game and just focus on single player. One last thing to mention, Minuscraft was made in Minecraft version 1.12.2, so that's the version I'll be using. To start, go into the obsidian room inside the balloon basket and run this command. All it does is place a redstone block, which activates a line of command blocks that get rid of the obsidian box, start the day cycle, and give you invincibility. With these effects, it's basically impossible to die. We'll be abusing this later. Directly above you is a chest with a bunch of helpful items in it. Grab the diamond sword, pick, shovel, and axe, along with the terracotta. Use the axe to collect 16 planks from the basket. The reason we didn't take everything we need from the chest immediately is so the planks appear in the hotbar, making it easier for you to see once you get 16. Use the terracotta to pillar up until you're level with the chest and fill in the top of the basket. This might seem like the opposite of the goal, but having a platform here is very useful. Now you can grab the rest of the items you'll need to get from the chest. Take the TNT, creeper eggs, flint and steel, gassed eggs, wet sponge, block of coal, and daylight sensors. There are other things in the chest that might be helpful, but this strategy does not use them. Mine the cobblestone walls attaching the basket to the balloon, the 4 iron blocks above your head, and these 3 glass panes. Use 4 wood to make a crafting table, then use the rest of the wood to craft 24 wooden slabs. Also craft shears and a bucket using the iron blocks. Place 8 terracotta blocks around the basket to form a 6x6 platform with the corners missing. Place the wooden slabs and the daylight sensors on top of the platform to cover every block except for this one, the center block that's closest to the chest. Instead, use this space to pillar up 3 blocks and place your last daylight sensor on the top. Look directly up and break the 4 glass panes above you. Anvils will fall on top of your head, but don't worry, you're invincible, and the daylight sensor you placed will break the anvils as they fall. Once the anvils directly above you are gone, break the daylight sensor and pillar up a couple more blocks so you can reach everything you'll need to. The balloon is completely filled with anvils. Luckily, the ground below you is covered with blocks that break falling anvils. Mine away the concrete and glass panes and break wool using your shears. There are 4 key spots on the balloon where you will want to use the flint and steel. This will let the wool burn, so when we come back to finish the balloon there will be less to do. Keep building up and breaking the glass under the anvils. We will come back to the outer layer of anvils later. Those are only stacked 4 high, so it is more efficient to just mine them. On your way to the top of the balloon, use all but 1 charge of the flint and steel to burn as much wool as possible. Now, if you look above the balloon, you'll see a large amount of obsidian. Your pickaxe is only efficiency 3. Luckily, there's an efficiency 5 book up there, but putting efficiency 5 on the pickaxe requires 8 levels, and you only got 7 when you started the game. This is the sole purpose of the gassed eggs. Spawn 1 ghast and kill it to be rewarded with the Uneasy Alliance advancement, which gives 100 experience. Now go up 1 more block from the top of your pillar, and the next block should be an anvil. This is just enough to jump and reach the chest above you. Grab the book and give the pickaxe efficiency 5. Pillar up all the way to the first obsidian bird, then immediately jump over to the second one. You can mine the obsidian blocks in any order, but I found a particular order that helped keep things organized. First, mine all the blocks above the main platform. Go to the far side of the bird and mine out a strip of obsidian in the center, along with 2 obsidian to form a staircase with the legs. Take out the obsidian on your side from top to bottom, so you end up on top of the yellow wool. Move 3 blocks out towards the spiderweb cloud. This is just close enough to remove the whole thing with your sword. Jump to the bird's other leg and take out the platform behind you. Remove the lower obsidian, then remove the rest of the first bird, jumping to the second to finish it. Remove these 3 blocks and drop down onto the leg. Take out the 2 yellow wool and all the lower obsidian. Remove the rest of the bird, ending with the beak under the chest, so you end up back on the pillar you used to get up. Before starting on the balloon, remove this cloud using your sword. Destroy the balloon from top to bottom. This will be different in every attempt, and your time will depend on how much wool the fire was able to remove. Remember to use shears to break any remaining wool. Also, on your way down to the basket, there are 2 more clouds to destroy, one near the middle and one that you can barely reach from the lowest block. By the time you get back down to the basket, it will be nighttime, which means there are skeletons below. I was not able to think of any way to deal with the skeletons that's faster than just letting them hit you off and killing them all once you're down there. There will also be creepers. Let them explode to destroy some of the dirt, which will save you some time later. Once all the skeletons are gone, pillar back up and finish destroying the basket and the fences below. Everything in the sky should now be gone. First thing you should do is remove the tree. Don't worry about the leaves, they'll decay on their own, except for this one leaf at the top. For some reason, this leaf doesn't decay, so you'll have to break it as well. Below us, under the ground, are many layers of different blocks. One of those layers is cobwebs, which would go significantly faster if we had water, but unfortunately we only have wet sponge. If only we could pull the water out of it. Turns out you can get water out of a wet sponge, which I didn't know until I looked it up just in case for this run. If you smelt wet sponge and put an empty bucket in the fuel slot, it will fill with water. So go into the house, remove the emeralds from the furnace, and throw in the sponge plus 1 coal block, then insert the bucket you crafted earlier. While it's smelting, remove the entire house using your axe. Remember to retrieve the water at the end. The next several layers are grass and dirt. Dirt can be mined instantly with the shovel, but grass takes a bit more time, so instead we're going to finally start using explosions. Place creepers and punch them to get their attention so they blow up faster. Focus on any areas that still have grass. In my attempts, I always used exactly 16 creepers here. Once most of the grass is gone, remove the rest of the grass and dirt using your shovel. The next layer is stone, and below that are the cobwebs. Mine out stone in spread out locations, and pour water in the holes to remove all the cobwebs. Now you can stand on top of the sandstone. Drop down and start placing creepers again. This will blow up the stone, the sandstone, and the melon layer below. Focus on placing the creepers in areas with the highest blocks. Any leftover blocks can be mined manually. As soon as the bookshelf layer is exposed, light it on fire with your flint and steel. Keep using creepers to destroy every layer down to the bookshelves so you end up standing on a layer of pistons. Avoid blowing up the pistons with the creepers. Any blocks left once you're mostly down to the pistons should be mined manually. This is a good checkpoint to make sure you've gotten everything above the pistons. Drop down to the redstone block layer and start placing TNT to blow up the redstone and pistons. Clear out a space in your hotbar to pick up the redstone blocks so you can keep using them to activate the TNT. Once the pistons are gone, start placing your TNT on top of the purpur next to the redstone blocks. Once the redstone blocks are gone, mine out the magma block layer and start placing TNT below the remaining purpur blocks, using the redstone blocks you collected to activate it. Use up the rest of your TNT doing this. Once the TNT is gone, mine out the remaining purpur, magma, and endstone manually. Use the remaining creeper eggs to help you destroy the final layer. Once you finish with this layer, a message should appear in the chat. If it didn't appear, you missed something. If it does appear, stop the timer. You're done. The rest of this video is my fastest run, which got a time of 24 minutes and 50 seconds. So, 2450 is the current record, but do you see that 12 in the top right? That means it was only my 12th attempt, and many of those attempts were restarted after less than 5 minutes. My time is definitely beatable, especially if you can come up with a more efficient strategy than the one I used. I'm challenging anyone watching this to beat my time and post a video of it for proof. We can probably get the record down to under 20 minutes if we work together to figure out some improvements. Finally, here's a more serious answer to why I made this video. I'm trying to get back into editing. There should be more videos on this channel soon, including the Ford episode of a series that a lot of people have been waiting for.